Some cars lose because they are too slow. Others disappear because they are too fast, too clever, or too dangerous for the rules around them. Some of these machines were blocked from public roads. Others were removed from competition. A few were never technically banned, even though the legend says otherwise. In this countdown, banned includes cars that were formally outlawed, refused entry, or effectively eliminated by new regulations, and we will separate the facts from the myths. These are 10 legendary cars that were banned. Number 10. Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. When Dodge revealed the Challenger SRT Demon in 2017, it came with an extraordinary marketing tool, an NHRA violation letter. Its supercharged V8 produced up to 840 horsepower on race fuel, and Dodge claimed a quarter-mile time of 9.65 seconds at 140 miles per hour. That crossed the NHRA threshold at which additional safety equipment was required. The Demon was not prohibited from every drag strip, but in factory form, without the required roll cage and other equipment, it could not run its full advertised time at an NHRA-sanctioned event. Dodge turned a technical safety restriction into proof that its road car had entered race car territory. Number 9. Nissan Skyline GT-R 34. The Skyline GT-R 34 became a global icon through racing games, movies, and its twin-turbo RB26 engine. In America, it also became famous for being difficult to own legally. The Skyline was not originally certified for all applicable United States safety standards. NHTSA once approved a petition covering several generations, but later partially rescinded it after learning that the proposed modifications were insufficient. The remaining approval covered only certain R33 models, not the R34 as a whole. Most R34 buyers therefore had to wait for the federal 25-year exemption. More early cars are now becoming eligible based on their individual build dates, so it was never a permanent ban. But decades of restriction turned the R34 into forbidden fruit. Number 8. Porsche 959. The Porsche 959 combined a twin-turbo flat-six engine with computer-controlled all-wheel drive and adjustable suspension. It was a forecast of the modern supercar, but Porsche did not certify the small production model for every American federal requirement. In 1990, an American dealer requested permission to import one purely for display. He even offered to remove the engine so it could never be driven. NHTSA rejected the request and affirmed that decision in 1991. Later legal changes and age exemptions created new routes for the 959. But during its original era, one of the world's most advanced road cars could not enter the United States as an ordinary road vehicle, not because it was too fast, but because it had never completed the required certification process. Number 7. Plymouth Superbird. The Plymouth Superbird was created to dominate NASCAR's fastest oval tracks. Its pointed nose reduced drag, and its enormous rear wings stabilized the car at speed. Pete Hamilton's victory in the 1970 Daytona 500 proved the design worked. NASCAR did not want expensive aerodynamic specials controlling the series. For 1971, the rulebook restricted the engine size available to these winged cars. They could technically appear, but with less power they could no longer compete against conventional models using larger engines. The Superbird was not erased by one sentence declaring it illegal. NASCAR simply legislated its advantage out of existence, and the winged warriors disappeared almost as quickly as they had arrived. Number 6. Porsche 956. The Porsche 956 won Le Mans 4 consecutive times and became one of endurance racing's greatest prototypes. Yet it was not allowed into North America's IMSA series in its original form. The problem was the cockpit. The driver's feet sat ahead of the front axle line, a layout IMSA considered unacceptable for safety. Porsche answered with the 962. Its longer wheelbase moved the front axle ahead of the driver's feet and produced another dominant racing car. In this case, the restriction did not kill the 956's bloodline. It forced Porsche to redesign it for America, and created an equally important successor. Number 5. Toyota Celica GT4 ST205. The Toyota Celica GT4 ST205 sat at the center of one of rallying's cleverest cheating scandals. World Rally Championship cars used a restrictor to limit air entering the turbocharger. Toyota Team Europe developed a hidden mechanism that appeared legal during inspection but allowed extra air to bypass the restrictor once installed. The FIA stripped Toyota of its 1995 championship points and excluded the team from the World Rally Championship for 12 months. The road-going Celica was never banned, and the punishment targeted the team rather than every ST205. But the competition car became inseparable from the scandal. Its concealed restrictor remains more famous than many legal racing innovations. Number 4, Lotus 88. In 1981, Formula One tried to limit dangerous ground effect performance by banning sliding skirts and requiring minimum ground clearance. Colin Chapman responded with the Lotus 88, built around two interconnected chassis. The inner structure carried the driver, engine, and suspension. The outer structure carried aerodynamic loads and could move differently at speed. Lotus argued that the car followed the wording of the regulations. Rivals said the outer body was one enormous movable aerodynamic device. Officials rejected it, and the Lotus 88 was banned before it could start a Formula One race. Unlike several cars on this list, this was a genuine ban. A radical idea stopped before competition could reveal its full potential. Number 3, Chaparral 2J. The box-shaped Chaparral 2J hit a system decades ahead of its time. Two rear fans extracted air from beneath the car, while sliding skirts sealed the low-pressure area. Unlike a normal wing, it could create downforce even at low speed. At Riverside in 1970, the 2J qualified more than 2 seconds faster than the dominant McLaren. Rivals protested that its fans and skirts were movable aerodynamic devices. There were also complaints that the fans threw dust and debris toward following drivers. The system was outlawed after the season. Mechanical failures meant the 2J never won a Can-Am race, but the rulebook ended the concept before Chaparral could make it reliable. Number 2, Brabham BT46B. The Brabham BT46B may be the most famous banned race car that was not actually banned. Designer Gordon Murray used a huge rear fan to extract air from beneath the car while also cooling its wide Alfa Romeo engine. Rivals called it an illegal movable aerodynamic device. Brabham argued that cooling was its primary purpose, and officials allowed it to race at the 1978 Swedish Grand Prix. Niki Lauda won by more than half a minute. Under political pressure from rival teams, Brabham owner Bernie Ecclestone then voluntarily withdrew the car. The BT46B was not disqualified, and the governing body did not immediately ban it. But later rules ensured the concept would not return. One race, one victory, then disappearance, the perfect recipe for a legend. Number 1, Lancia Delta S4. The Lancia Delta S4 represents the rise and fall of Group B rallying. Its mid-mounted engine used both a supercharger and a turbocharger, while all-wheel drive and a lightweight tubular structure delivered extreme speed on almost any surface. But performance had advanced faster than safety. Spectators stood dangerously close to the road, and the cars offered limited crash protection by modern standards. At the 1986 Tour de Corse, Henri Toivonen and co-driver Sergio Cresto were killed when their Delta S4 left the road and caught fire. Their deaths followed other serious Group B incidents, including a crash in Portugal that killed spectators. The FIA ended Group B as the World Rally Championship's leading category after 1986. The Delta S4 was not singled out as defective, it became the symbol of an entire formula that the sport could no longer safely control. These cars were blocked for different reasons: safety, loopholes, cheating, or regulations designed to control performance. Others became victims of myths that grew larger than the facts. But every one of them changed the rulebook, or changed how people understood it. Which banned car deserved another chance? Subscribe to Peak Selects for more stories about the machines that changed automotive history.